Okay. Y'all, we are the start. It's a podcast, it's not a cast for.
Hey, Frase, every day she'll make you say,
oh my God.
she's got the scoop on pop culture news. So grab a drink, it ain't what you think. What are you looking at over there?
I am disturbed.
What are you looking at over there?
I can't stop reading this story. I can't stop reading the comments on my Facebook page. I can't stop reading this story of the girl, the local girl, who said that the white kids held her down and cut off her dreadlocks, and now she's lying. What?
Wait, but we found out she's lying. But
Y'all,
this was
we cannot cry wolf.
Wait, we just got over the fact that 3 white boys held her down and cut off her dreadlock, and now you're telling me she fibbed.
She completely made it up. I feel so bad for this kid, and I know people are going to be like, fuck you.
She's obviously going through something like needing attention, or why would she cry wolf about this?
I don't know. But can I just tell you, is anybody else listening, watching, skeptical now of all these stories? So, it started with Jussie Smollett, right? Now, I actually believed Jussie Smollett. Is it Jussie Smollett?
Oh, no, because of Dave Chappelle. Y'all ever heard of Jussie Smollett?
Let me tell you about a guy, Jussie Smollett. Dave Chappelle, greatest comedian ever.
Check out
ever.
Sticks and Stones.
Sticks and Stones, greatest. I don't care if you have a problem with it. Oh, well, unfriend us, whatever. It's the greatest special of all time. And when he goes into Jussie Smollett,
you can't not laugh.
I mean, it's the best ever. But I actually believe Jussie Smollett. I really did.
Yeah.
And then I would have some people hit me up and they'd be like, this story isn't true. People on the ground in Chicago already know that there's inconsistencies. Things are not adding up. And so I was like, really? No way. Being that high profile, there's no way. And then, of course, come to find out, complete lie. So this girl last week makes national news. She's a 6th grader that attended the private Virginia Christian school. And she accused 3 of her white classmates last week of pinning her down and cutting off her locks in a racially motivated attack. Lied about the entire thing.
You know what I did find strange?
What?
I did not see a cut lock on her precious head of hair. It looked all intact.
It did?
And you know what? Yes, it looked, I was like, where was it cut? Secondly, she cried for like 10 minutes straight. They need to sign her up for acting class because she can cry on the spot.
You're one hell of an actress. You are. You know what the silver lining is for you is, girl, go into acting. There ain't no part you can't play.
If an agent isn't hitting you up, well, they ain't doing their job right because she can act.
We should
hit her up, be like, hey, we're agents.
We're agents. We'd like to represent you. We've got a couple of roles we'd like you to play on this podcast, if you will. Because, you know what? If she can hold up a lie like that in front of basically
national
on
news
camera and cry on command, that chick, she's an Oscar winner.
Let's get ready for these awards, yo. We're from the Hey Frase Agency, and we would love to sign you.
The administrators and families of Emmanuel Christian School say, we are sorry for the damage this incident has done to trust within the school family and the undue scorn it has brought to the school. Okay, this is from the grandparents. I think this is to what's said. The grandparents of the girl, they are the legal guardians, released an apology this week on Monday. To those young boys and their parents, we sincerely apologize for the pain and anxiety these allegations have caused, the grandparents wrote. They say that they're ready for the consequences because they know there will be them. Messages left for family members seeking additional comment were not immediately returned. The school's principal, Stephen Dash, also issued a statement and sent an email to parents. We can now confirm that the student who accused 3 of her classmates of assault has acknowledged that the allegations were false. We're grateful to the See, I gotta tell you though, when this story came out last week, I did not jump on this bandwagon because once I watched that interview, I thought something was off. Because I think usually when these things happen, like people come right out of the gate and like defend themselves, or pictures of the kids start circulating. I don't know. It just seemed like the school was like, you know what, we're going to prey on this. I just felt like from the get-go, they were doing an internal investigation and seeing how it was going to play out. Can you imagine lying to your grandparents and everything like that?
Absolutely not. And we were getting into like, have you ever fibbed? Do you remember like lying as a kid? But I really believed her because she was crying and it seemed like there's just so much racism that is happening. And if there was a time for this to happen, it would be now. And so I immediately believed it. And I just can't believe that. I feel like she's going to even cause more making fun of and bullying. I mean, I don't even know
That's sad, actually. You're right. You know, I didn't think about that. I thought, you know what? Because this poor girl, now her face is splashed everywhere because she put herself out there.
Yes. And so I'm just worried about the repercussions. Maybe she needs to go to counseling or something. But the grandparents
start
actually
acting
more
school.
Yeah. Juilliard is only a hop, skip, and a jump in New York City. Apply today.
No, it was, I think what is sad about this story and Juicy Smollett is when you cry wolf, what happens is like we said, there are hate crimes happening. There are, racially charged incidents. And then at what point are people going to stop believing people when they actually were hurt?
No. So
that's what's scary.
Did you ever lie or anything?
Yeah, we were talking about crying wolf and I said, yeah, twice. Like I actually, when I was little, I feel like I was this kid. Thank God there just were no cameras in Maine.
Thank God there were no investigators or reporters.
One, they had this woman that would come in, I don't know, she was like a substitute teacher once a month or whatever, and she would always come in with a giant thing of bubble gum, and then she would play the game
substitute teacher.
Whose parents are the youngest, or whose grandparents live the furthest away? So that was the question, and I go, oh, mine live in Florida. I just pulled that out of my ass. They live an hour away down in southern Maine. And I got the big bubble gum. They were everyone in the classroom was like, oh, wow, Florida, what's it like? I was amazing. It's great weather all year round. I was in first grade.
You're just a talker. You could just make up lies for...
Pulled it out of my ass. Get home with this giant thing of bubble gum. My mom's like, where'd you get that? I go, oh, they were playing a game at school. I told them that my grandparents live in Florida. She's like, that's not true.
You lying.
They live in Gardner, Maine. We're going back in. I had to give the gum back. It's so embarrassing. I also put on a performance like this girl. I was breaking down. I was like, ah.
Oh my God. You played the victim? I got one bubble gum.
Oh, sorry. And then one time, because when I was growing up, my dad ran a grocery store. So when we would go in, we just help ourselves to whatever we wanted. So one time when we were out shopping, I must have been second grade, and we went into 4 or 5 stores. I helped myself to everything that I wanted. And then I got home and I had a t-shirt, a Snickers bar.
You klepto.
A small lantern. My mom's like, where the
small lantern? What the fuck are you doing? What is even in Maine? Okay, it is always
camping supplies.
Camping supplies. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to need this lantern.
So we go in, and my mom's like, where'd you get all that stuff? Oh, well, help myself to the stores. I thought it was Dad's store. She's like, no, you can't go in and out.
Smart.
And then I had to go back, and I had to go speak to the manager of everyone and return everything. You know how embarrassing that is? I know what this girl's going through.
As a 6-year-old. Okay, her story is a little bit more intense than...
12, 6, whatever.
Returning
National
a
news.
lantern.
Local. I can empathize, sis.
My God. Yeah, I wasn't really a klepto. I just school supplies. I would steal pens from the local, my dad's job, and just have stock full of pens in my pockets.
Never cried wolf, though, huh?
Never really cried wolf. No, I committed crimes. I was fully guilty.
You were the one out robbing kids. Yeah. Okay, you were never I've been robbed.
Biggest thing, I stuck a pencil, a piece of... This girl bullied me all the time, and I finally was like, you know what? Stop. And so we went to camp together, and she was still bullying me. And I took a piece of my lead pencil, I broke it off, and I just laid it inside her ear ledge. And she poked it in, and it went all the way inside. She had to go to the emergency room and get it flushed out. And at camp, this was at summer camp, and all the counselors for the rest of the summer they casted me out as this juvenile. I would just see them in the corner like this.
Oh, they labeled you as troubled child.
Yes, I was like, okay, this bitch, first off, would bully me for 5 years. Her name was Nia.
Nia.
If you're out there.
Yeah, Nia. Well, hopefully you still got lead in your ear, biatch.
No, don't say that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. As a parent, are you going to believe everything your kid says? I feel like you are, because you're so...
I was telling you this. My parents never believed us.
Really?
I don't know how this girl got her grandparents on board. My parents would have been like, okay, all right, sure.
Yeah, white
My
privilege.
mom would have been
Nothing
like, you know what? Go back in there and stand up to him. And I would have had no hair left. They would have shaved it all off. I would have been do you believe me now? My mom always was like that. She was toughen up. She always is hey, no
toughen up, buttercup.
Yeah.
Man, this is a crazy story. Well, we got to see what's going to develop. I still haven't seen a picture of the 3 white boys.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
why I feel
happened.
it was now maybe on certain blogs or something in Virginia. I don't know. Maybe they're the 3 kids. But that's what I'm saying. When the kids' pictures never emerged, when they were never named and stuff, I'm like, something seems off. And when Emmanuel Christian just came out and was like, let's pray about it, I'm like, this is going national. They've got to know something, because they wouldn't respond this casually if this was legit. And I think they were just killing time until they got to the bottom of this. This is crazy. Y'all, I don't even know. What do you guys think? And then people were on my Facebook page we shouldn't be publicly sharing this story and chastising her. Okay, well, what are we supposed to do? Speak about it in silence? This kid's an award-winning actress.
I gotta say, yeah, there is a silver lining. I think she should go back on television and apologize and just do a make good. And
that's a good idea.
And then call it a day. You know what I mean? You've been canceled
so bad
before.
For the grandparents too. Yeah.
No, but you know what? It's not really on them. It's on the child. She's 12 years old. At that point, you do have a good sense of moral high ground. Like, you know what's right and wrong. So I just feel like she should come out, say I'm sorry, and then move on. Possibly transfer schools. That's all I'm saying. You may want to transfer, maybe move to a different state.
Oh, man, it's going to be hard to go back to school that way.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Oh, boy.
Yikes. Look, we got an amazing show for you today. This is very exciting. We have 2 professional cuddlers in here. We've been obsessed with cuddling, okay? I've been looking for people to come in. And then actually, I've been looking for a male cuddler.
Because they're not as well known.
They're not as well known.
Yeah.
So male cuddlers, okay, cuddling, the whole industry of cuddling has like popped up, I would say, like in the past 2 years. We did the story of the woman in Arizona who like cuddled the woman, then apparently she like finger banged her, like all this stuff, right? So then we were like, we're finally going to do it. And I've been dying to do a cuddling session. So I'm doing a cuddling session, which will be on YouTube. You can follow us at Hey Frase by a guy. I'm getting the full experience. I want to know what it's like. Isn't anyone else curious to be cuddled?
Like, I totally am, yeah.
So you pay them anywhere $45 to like $100 an hour, okay? And they just physically cuddle you.
They can go up to 12 hours, yo. You can have an overnight cuddle session in your bed.
Okay, we're asking him about that. Is this sexual? Do you think this is sexual?
Yes, I'm so about, I think cuddling equals foreplay. That's how I foreplay a lot of the time, is just like touching the person. Immediately, I would get aroused. I mean, unless I'm not like fully physically attracted to them, I think. But even with a woman, just like that touch, like that, like starts something in my body.
And do you think cuddling is just a front for really, then they're just like, you know,
Just
you're getting a
sucking down on
blowjob?
a
Yeah.
date.
They're just sucking you off like, oh, here, all right, let's hug for like 2 minutes. Okay.
So this cuddle session, you know, because I'm recording it, are you just like prepping me for a sex tape of Sarah Fraser?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for prime time. And I'm putting on the weight because I'm anticipating this, like having this kid.
So you're Kim
I'm just
Kardashian.
packing on the pounds right now.
I'm Kris Jenner. And this is the sex tape that I'm orchestrating.
Yeah, all right. Oh my God, I'm not going to look nearly as good though. You've really got to tape up my fupa and get the good angles. Yeah.
Just tape everything
Tape it up.
So are you nervous for this, or are you more excited? What are your feelings going into the cuddle session?
I'm so excited. And I feel like if you have any questions, hit us up.
Can't wait to talk about it. Yeah.
Hit us up on YouTube. I can't wait. Kyle Hoffman is his name, and Jasmine Simon.
Oh, you have such a good memory. Yeah.
Simon.
It's a German last name.
Yes. They're going to be it. So we're going to hear from a female cuddler and a male cuddler. Only male cuddler, by the way, from DC all the way to Philadelphia. He's the only guy, certified male.
He's always traveling. And the craziest part, they both are in committed relationships.
I want to ask him about that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Insane. We have to thank some of our sponsors, though. Alex Nguyen, Dan and I, Shman the man. We haven't even talked about Shman the man, I feel like, much.
I know.
What has Shman the man been doing?
Does he like this break? Does he appreciate it? Has he been home with his new married wife?
He does. I think he's really enjoying married life.
Oh,
yeah. He likes to be locked down. He likes to be booed up. Like he is a boot up.
Boot up.
We're booed up. Like we're in.
Oh, that's really good because I'm in the worst situation. So I love to hear yours.
But you know my journey. It took so long to get there.
Right?
And I was so like wishy-washy and on the fence. And then, you know, I said to Shman, we've got to get together or I'm having desires for all kinds of other people, other cuddlers. So what's going on?
Yo.
Are we going to get booed up or are we booed out?
Put this ring on his finger.
Put the ring on it. But you're like in a whole different, you and Schmig need a year.
Need a reboot.
You need a year to go do other people. Get gonorrhea in the eye again. And then, you know what
I want to, this is from Sarah Fraser. And I actually
That's probably my gonorrhea.
I just like blaming you on it because I think it's funny. We have such a funny relationship. You're like literally my big sister. This bitch farted on my pillow in Vegas. I just love going with that story.
You can't even get pink eye from a fart. I would have to
That's how you get pink eye.
No, you've got to actually have
fecal
booty
matter.
hole. Yes. Yes, you have to have fecal matter. It's why little kids get it. They're always scratching their buttholes because they don't wipe, and then they put it in their eyes.
Well, you're always having dreams of literally getting eaten out in the ass by Schman. You literally probably touch your butt in the middle of the night and then touched my pillow with your sex dreams.
And he's tuned out again. He's tuned out. Schman is tuned out again. Oh my God, he cannot listen to these episodes. He will be so
disturbed. We haven't talked about Schman in a while. Yes.
I told him that I had that dream, and he completely, he looks at me like he has this constipated face. He's always like he always looks at me so weird. I'm like, why are you looking at me so weird?
What the fuck kind of face was that?
He looks all around. He looks all around like, I'm like, no. I need you to react like you're excited, like you're like you be into this. He's always like, I'm like, what the hell is that face?
Do you think he needs a cuddler? He needs to open up a little bit?
Yes.
He would be so
opened him
awkward.
Up so much, but he needs way more touch.
Would you allow him to go to a female cuddling session?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would love to see him.
A double sesh so that you get touched by Kyle and Schman gets touched by
Jasmine.
That
would be epic.
I keep thinking of Juicy Smollett. By Juicy Smollett.
By Juicy.
Oh my God, we just go on and on.
Oh my God, we do. We have the best time on this show. We freaking love you guys. P.S. Tell somebody that's never heard of us about the Hey Frase podcast. Spread the word, okay? You know what? 2019, 2020, we're breaking boundaries, all right? We're coming up on the 4-year anniversary. We're going to blow-ish up. We're going to do things differently. We're going to take this podcast to the next level. We've had it with these other people succeeding. We've had it with all these other famous podcasts.
We've had it. We're rebooting it.
Yes.
We're getting new cover art. We're doing a lot of fun stuff. We're taking it cross country, LA, New York, guys. A lot of big stuff.
All over. Okay. All over. So tell people about the podcast. We love you. Also support our people that advertise in our clients because we love them. Alex Newwin, Schman and I are doing our life insurance and short-term and long-term disability insurance with Alex and his wife on. You can go to their website, alwayson.com, ALWAYSANH.com. Their phone number is 703-462-8700. Their consultations are completely free and always free for you. They spend an insane amount of time talking to you about your financial situation, your kid situation, your future. They have 3 actual locations that you can go in: Alexandria, Arlington, and Annandale if you want to go visit them. They handle life insurance, auto, home, rentals, condo, and financial services as well. They spent about 2 hours with Dan and I so we could actually financially plan. We could really kind of make a plan for what we needed for life insurance for him, what we needed for life insurance for me. We're getting our policies through State Farm. They're very, very reputable, and they have all the great software there to kind of break it down. If you get preferred rates and if you get like even their premier rates, your life insurance for $1 million, $2 million policy can be less than $100 a month. It's incredible. Make your appointment today. Call them at 703-462-8700. Dr. Mary, I went and saw her for my checkup, and you've probably seen her on my Instagram. Mary's awesome. She runs and owns Total Dental Care in Germantown, Maryland. It's totaldentalcaremd.com. Her specialty is periodontal surgery, and I got to tell you, I never even took any painkillers. It was an awesome procedure. I decided to do sedation, 1, because I wanted to try it, and also 2, because I'm a wimp, and it worked amazing. I was in and out of there in just a little over an hour. You got to have somebody pick you up. Periodontal disease is the recession of gums. So if you've ever had gums pull away from the teeth or you feel like they're sensitive, you're probably a candidate for that. Total Dental Care also is a full-service dentistry from little kids all the way up to Grammys and grandpas. Make your appointment today, and you get a $99 special when you tell them, hey, Frase. Just go to totaldentalcaremd.com. Tell me about Framebridge, Age.
I got you with the Framebridge. You guys know I would be an interior designer if I didn't love media. But Framebridge, if you've been listening to the show, you definitely have heard us talk about Framebridge. They make it super easy and affordable to frame your favorite things. If you've got kids art, you've got concert posters, vacation pictures, and they're just sitting on your phone or your computer, you go to framebridge.com and you upload your photo, or they'll send you packaging to safely mail in your physical pieces. You can preview your item online in any frame style. I love this because you can kind of get an idea for what it's going to look like on your wall. They'll send you packaging to safely mail in your physical pieces, so don't worry about it getting damaged. The expert team at Framebridge will custom frame your items and deliver your finished piece directly to your door, ready to hang up. And instead of the hundreds of dollars you pay at a framing store, their prices start at $39.
Excellent.
All shipping is free. Never have to worry about those extra shipping charges. Plus, Hey Frase listeners get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use code FRASE, Frase.
Amazing.
Get started today. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code FRASE. You'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Or if you're in the DC area, you can check out their new store on 14th Street, also down by Bethesda Row. I've been to the 14th Street location. It's beautiful, and they've got tons of staff, and they can help you out. Just like give them an idea of what you want. I do a lot of pop art on my wall, so I do a whole collage, and I love that. And they have literally like a section for it. You guys can see right on our YouTube, the print and poster. You just mail it in, and they put it in the frame. So again, framebridge.com, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so cute. If you go to framebridge.com or visit one of their stores and use promo code FRASE, because we love you guys.
Love you. All right, here are our cuddlers. We're so excited about this interview. All right, what a day. AJ and I are so excited about this. We have been talking about having professional cuddlers in and on the Hey Frase show, and I have been dying to do an actual cuddling session myself. This all started, I'm going to say maybe a year and a half ago. I read about cuddling maybe 2 years ago for the very first time ever.
Yeah.
I think the Washington Post carried a story. And I have been so curious about this industry. It's a growing, booming business. And essentially my understanding, I don't know about you, AJ, is that cuddling is just as it sounds, like you pay someone to essentially cuddle and hold you. I think it helps with loneliness. It helps with anxiety. But I think, too, a lot of people have question about, like, is this a legitimate profession?
Well, yeah. And you want to get cuddled, and I'm considering being a cuddler. And then we recently...
You need to, yes, in New York, yes.
In New York, oh God.
You'd
the characters I would see in New York. I have no idea. But there was a recent article about the woman that it actually became like a more sexual relationship. So I want to get all into that.
We want to ask you about that woman, too, in Arizona. We have two special guests today, and this is like a true treat because in researching the cuddling business, it seems as though women really dominate the business. It's female cuddlers seeing women and male patients. But there are very few male cuddlers that we've ever seen. Today, we have a treat. We have a male cuddler and a female cuddler here for you. So Kyle Hoffman and Jasmine Simone, did I say it correctly? Simone are here in studio, and you two are professional cuddlers. Oh my God! This is amazing! Cuddle us now! Look at this. You two... Where do we even begin? In talking about this, our listeners are so excited. They have a million questions for you. I was with my cousin last night having dinner. She had 1,000 questions for you guys. Okay, so let's start with you, Kyle, because we were initially drawn to you because it seems as though you are one of the few men on the East Coast between Philadelphia. You're located in Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But also work the D.C.-Baltimore area. Is that a true perception that this is mostly a female business, that it's mostly women cuddlers?
Yeah, that's definitely the truth. I don't know what the exact statistics are, but I'd say at the most it'd be maybe like one male cuddler to 10 women. I mean, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Wow. Yeah. And Jasmine, we're going to have you get as close to that mic.
Gotcha.
Perfect, girl.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so how did you even, tell us how you got into this business?
Yeah, totally. So a lot of my life, I didn't have nearly as much touch as when I wanted. And then I went on a personal journey to create more like really nourishing, just fulfilling touch in my life. And it just helped me feel so much better, so much more like fulfilled and just more loved. And I also learned like tons of other things about like how to ask for what I want, how to be better at boundaries, all these things. And at some point, once I was more filled up, I was like, all right, I got to share it. Right?
Yes.
I got to like pay this forward, help make our world, our culture so much better around touch. Yeah, so that's like really my journey. First it was personal, and then wanted to pay it forward. So
okay, you two, how long has this industry been around? Because I feel like it's only gone mainstream maybe in the past 2 years that we've seen like cuddling professionals. But has this been around for like 15 years and we just don't know it?
I mean, I know that. So like Cuddle Party, an international organization which does like group events about communication, consent, and platonic touch and cuddling. I believe that started in California in 2004. So like that at least has been around for a while. I'm not super familiar with how long like one-on-one cuddling, professional cuddling has been around.
I would say since 2015, roughly, is when Samantha Hess out of Cuddle Up to Me, based out of Portland, Oregon, Seattle, maybe.
Close enough.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
You can cut
Good
that part out.
enough.
So she started, and in fact, she was on X Factor in 2015 doing this. I don't know if it was worldwide, but it was definitely nationally, just pushing the cuddle movement, touch. And much like Kyle, she had gone through some things, and she's been very open and upfront about it that led her down this path, like a lot of people have.
Okay, so you guys, this is a legitimate business we're going to get more into, but you talk about it being platonic. I think one of the biggest things out of the gate that people think is there's no way that you are just cuddling people and getting paid, that there has to be some other sex act going on. So tell us about that like myth, that whole thing. Or I don't know, are there a lot of cuddlers out there basically doing that, but then they're performing other things? Like, how is it platonic?
Sure. So first I start with, I think that our culture in the U.S., like we really have very little knowledge about how like intimacy or touch and sexuality can be like different things. So like in other cultures or other around the world or even in the US in different times, it was like really, really common. So even in the Middle East, men hold their hands. It's totally normal. In South America, women or mothers and daughters cuddling up to each other, like really common. There's pictures of like men in the 50s or actually probably earlier 1900s in the US. They would cuddle and get pictures taken. If you ever see, it's like an article on Art of Manliness. Really awesome.
Okay.
Isn't it crazy how our society is so Puritan based? Like it's so, we're so behind in sex. Like we talk about it all the time on this show. Like you go to Japan, they're like, everybody's waving around a dildo. Here, I mean, like, yeah, even Europe,
they're like making out in the streets.
The French have open relationships. Here, it's still so taboo. And you're like, people are doing this. Why are we not more awake as a society? And in media, it drives me crazy. You turn in the FCC. It's like, look, these kids now have YouTube. They hear fuck from the time they're 4. Let's just let it out. Anyway, go on. That's another time. That's another rant.
As a professional, my stance on that.
Anyway,
so
touch
I think
has been common in other cultures.
Yeah. So I mean, and I understand that. I really understand that for most people, like the idea that intimacy or cuddling can be separate from romance or sexuality is like really foreign. And it was for me until like I'd say my mid-20s. I went to I'll just share a little bit of what I learned. Went to a workshop and it was like 3 hours in. We had safety. We got comfortable with each other, and then they invited this exercise with someone you just met to stroke the one person's face like they were a baby. And just like caringly like stroke them, give them a touch on their face. And I had this light bulb moment that intimacy and sexuality are two different things and like they can be separate. Whereas before in my life, they were all combined. So I think that's where a lot of people are, that intimacy, touch, and sexuality, like they all have to be together, but they really don't. Let's see. I'm curious. How much am I answering your question?
That's
I mean,
great.
I feel like that's like the foundation.
Basically, like, and AJ, you jump in with any questions too. You, Jasmine and Kyle, you're basically saying like for you all, and I'm assuming you go through some training, right, to become a professional cuddler. So there's a clear line for you as the therapist that cuddling is platonic and not sexual.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you get a lot of inquiries from clients that you think are basically fishing for something else, for sex? You're shaking your head, Jasmine.
I'm shaking
yes.
my head. Yes,
Yeah.
it happens.
So
It happens,
a lot of
definitely.
men, or a lot of men hitting you up, or is it
men
women?
and women.
Really?
I would say obviously more men
Yeah.
than women, but they're both looking for that. But like Kyle said, sometimes they don't realize that they're looking for connection and they think it's sex. Sometimes it is sex that they're looking for. Or some kind of sexual activity or something.
Sure.
And they don't realize it, but you never know. That's why we have like a vetting process to go through, to talk to the potential client, and make sure that they are looking for the services we provide.
Okay, and how do you screen? Yeah, because I think that was one of the big questions is like, how do you guys make sure, because I'm sure your own personal safety too. You two are probably doing this alone, like in your own office or whatever.
Do you have a place for it, or is it in like an own office building for cuddling?
Like I have a studio, and then I'll also travel to people's locations, either public spot or people's homes. And so one of the things that I do is basically I have like a video chat, ideally video chat or phone call with most people. And I feel like right away, especially when it's video, I can get it. And I mean, also, I'll ask questions like, what are you looking for? And we have, at least with like Cuddlers, they have a maybe like 14-point, very professional code of conduct. And right away, like when a lot of people see that, like if they're looking for something that's not that, it's like, okay, they go away. And I really like to help people feel comfortable to like ask me anything. And then honestly, like I learn a lot. And sometimes people will ask me like, oh, well, do you ever just, I'm like, no. And then that gives me an idea of, okay, is this person a good fit or not?
What direction that they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about this. So you obviously have a serious vetting, process that you go through, but what are the actual benefits of cuddling? Either one, Kyle or Jasmine, you can both.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm talking a lot, whatever.
Oh, no, I want it to be, like, it should be about his male experience, because I've done a lot of the interviews, so please.
Great, cool. Yeah. So yeah,
these guys have such a great flow. They're like,
I know, this is like the first time they met in person.
It's like all month.
Yeah. So really, there's so many different kinds of people and different kinds of things that people come in with. So like I said, some people come in with anxiety, maybe they're going through a really hard time, or just in general, they use it as a really natural and healthy way to calm their nerves and sleep better. So some people get benefits in that way. Some people come to me and very unfortunately, they've had some kind of abuse, either emotional or physical or sexual, and touch or any kind of intimacy and closeness is really, really scary. It's really, really associated with feeling dangerous. And for me, often it's because they've had that abuse from a man or a male. So like with them, a lot of our journey is going from touch and any closeness being super scary to making it really consensual again, really talking about how we're going to communicate, how are you going to feel in your body when you know something's comfortable or not, and getting like their mind, but it's even more so with this modality, their nervous system, their emotions, their body to associate touch and closeness with safety and like and then eventually, sometimes even as little as 3 hours, getting to like blissful again. And like, wow, now I going from hugs are overwhelming and scary to, oh my God, I can't believe that like I've been missing this for the last 10 or 20 years, whatever it is.
Wow.
That's some of it.
That is like heavy.
It
You know what I
is.
mean? That's like a big task for you, because that's a lot of like baggage and stuff. So, wow, even, we talk about everything on this show, but fortunately in my life, I've never been in an abusive relationship. I was never sexually abused. So I don't know firsthand what that's like, but certainly have had friends that have gone through that. So it just, that really messes up people's psyche, they're just really afraid of just platonic touch. They have no idea what that even feels like.
I mean, they might know what it feels like, but like sometimes people tell me that so even a child hugging them is like super uncomfortable. Like it brings up that emotional and nervous system association with danger. And yeah, so I mean, I think that may answer your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your only association as a
Right.
child is with negative
Abuse,
violent
some sort of,
abuse,
yeah.
right, then you're going to grow up still with that kind of association of touch. And so it's important that they keep that in mind also when they come to see a cuddler, that you were talking about how much they're unpacking, that they're unpacking, and so that they're very aware of how much they want to open up and talk about. So it's something to be cognizant of.
So how many sessions on average does someone come to you for? Like, is it like therapy you're going ongoing every single week? You were saying, Kyle, sometimes things can be resolved within one session. Is it just different for everyone, or what does a typical client do?
I mean, I have sessions every week. I have clients who come once a week for 1 hour, once a week for 2 hours. Sometimes they come for 4 hours every other week. I do overnight sessions as well. For clients that I've been seeing for a while, at least if we've had 2 sessions together. And I can see they can respect boundaries and understand consent and all that jazz. Yeah.
You have to cuddle them all night? That's exhausting. My arms would fall asleep. Seriously.
I would die.
Until they fall
AJ changed her
asleep.
mind right now. She's like, I'm not cut out for
She's like, I
this.
don't want to do it.
Exhausted.
How does an overnight session
So
go?
yeah,
That's
how long does that
fascinating.
last?
It's a 12-hour session, 6 hours cuddling, or not even necessarily cuddling. So one thing that we're talking about is cuddling and touch. But sometimes we hold sessions where there is no touch. Like I've had clients come to my office where we just sit across from each other, hold hands, and their emotional experience is crying. Or people who have significant social anxiety, right, that just need to get used to being in the room with somebody else. Like there's no touching, but just sitting with energy. So with some of my sessions, we'll play games. There's the 3-minute game. You know about the 3-minute game? Yeah.
I haven't done it in a
what's
while,
the
but yeah,
3-minute
generally I know
game?
you go for it.
No, 7 minutes in heaven, but
Yeah.
you have 3 minutes.
Different game.
Yeah, we know other games. but
AJ's not qualified.
So
Really.
it's based off of the quadrants of
Consent or touch?
consent. Yeah, but Betty Martin, Wheel of Consent.
Wheel of
That's what
Consent.
I'm thinking of.
Wheel of consent.
Yeah.
There's a wheel of consent.
consent.
This is a
So-
whole nother world to me. Okay, this is amazing.
So there's 4 quadrants. There's the way that I want to touch you, and the way I want you to touch me, and then vice versa. The way you want me to touch you, and the way that you want to touch me. And so we'll play this 3-minute game where I'll say, "Hey Sarah, may I run my fingers through your hair?" And you say yes, no. not right now. And we just go back and forth and we do it for 3 minutes.
Wow. Okay, and what does this do for somebody then when they go back into society? Is it really about just getting them okay with more like social anxiety? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, then how does that translate to real life? Because for me, the hard part with like a statement like that is like with therapy, right? You're sitting there talking, they kind of they steer you to some solutions, right? But then what is the 3-minute game? How do you then put that into practice in real life?
Well, like, so I guess maybe I'll circle back to the 3-minute game. But so some of the like really most touching moments I've had is after a session or after a few sessions, 3 or however many weeks later, is getting someone like maybe I talked about who had trauma and touch was scary, sending me an email and saying like, oh my gosh, Kyle, you know, like I met someone and like I went from dating feeling like so scary to we're going slow, but it feels amazing. And like, I never thought that I could have this intimacy with someone again because it was so scary. So there's definitely transformation in people's real lives. And I'm happy. I love supporting people like in between or after sessions with video coaching or phone call coaching or, you know, guidance, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
And then, yeah, I'd say that then there's also, so as much as people are into it, I love to like really help people improve their lives in general and outside the session. I don't want it to just be like, just a help while they're with me. So whenever people are into it, I offer, are you interested in connecting with like platonic cuddle group events or workshops? Are you interested in looking up these like peer-to-peer, find a platonic cuddle buddy stuff? So basically helping people. So I've had people who've then gone from me to going to this like platonic cuddle group, and then they make a friend at the cuddle group, and then they're starting to and eventually create a lot of like platonic personal touch in their lives. And yeah, it's just really beautiful.
Oh my, that's so interesting because I immediately relate cuddling to like leading, you know, like foreplay. And it's just so crazy to me. So my biggest question was, are you guys in relationships? Are you in like an actual committed relationship with somebody? And how do they feel about it? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, sure. I get to talk a lot.
This is good for you.
I'm always like conscious, like 50-50 of it. Like,
no, I am like hanging on every
Jasmine
single word.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Jasmine.
Wait till our next mastermind. It's going to be all about me.
It's going to be all about you. Okay. So I'm in a wonderful relationship with a woman, and yeah, she's so supportive. She thinks it's really wonderful of how I'm helping the world, how I'm helping people. And I mean, she was even, I'd say, like, she kind of, maybe a little bit like AJ, kind of thought like, oh, would I like to be part-time or on the side a professional cuddler? She's it's not for her. I mean, she just decided not to really pursue it. But yeah, it's been wonderful.
And she has no problems at all.
Did she ever feel like you're spending too much time cuddling other people and not me? Or you save enough cuddling for her?
To be honest, I love cuddling. Like honestly, it's like in some ways that's why this like profession fits me so well that especially with like, yeah, so we cuddle tons, and okay, but she's never had an issue with that stuff.
Before you answer this, Jasmine, like before you talk about your relationship too, but you guys are doing something so intimate with people, right? Like, have either one of you ever fallen in love with a client or ever thought, you know what, I can't see this client because I feel like, you know what, this connection is so strong? I mean, you guys are doing something, because like when I go to therapy, I mean, you're like 10 feet away from the therapist. Like, they never want to touch you. You know, I mean, like,
Hopefully they don't.
It's like hard to...
Don't give me those eyes, Sarah. Stop it.
Yeah, so it's like, but you guys are having a very intimate moment, which I feel like it's sometimes, do you ever get caught up and you're like, okay, I feel like I could have feelings for this person?
Guess I'll just keep
Jump
talking.
in, Kyle.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
Keep going.
All right, cool. It's all about me day. So, like, I'd say for me, not really. I mean, so again, going back to like, I totally get where that's so understandable based on like common U.S. culture. I don't live in the U.S. in like common culture. I live in like very much like sub-specific cultures where
love it.
Where intimacy and closeness and touch are really common. So definitely I'd say in the beginning of my personal journey, it was harder for me to separate these feelings of like platonic intimacy and touch, closeness, from romantic or like erotic feelings.
Right.
And now, because it's so common for me, both my friends, men friends, women friends, family more so, as well as clients, it doesn't come up nearly as much. And then even if I would start to, because I've trained and practiced, if I start to feel like, oh, my energy's starting to like ramp up instead of being soothing or therapeutic, I have energy grounding techniques and breathing, or can change positions. Yeah, so I just, it hasn't been
Never
anything
been an
significant
issue
for me. Yeah.
Wow. Jasmine, have you ever had that experience?
No. So I'm very aware of transference and countertransference. And I have had situations where clients do fall pretty hard for me. And so
Yeah,
I
through
bet.
that, we start talking about the feelings, right? The communication, really digging deep and diving to figure out why they're feeling that towards me. Because I assure you, I'm not that awesome. It's
Yes, she
You
is.
are awesome. Yeah.
that they're getting this, that there's somebody holding their hand, looking at them in the eyes, and just listening, shutting up. I'm not trying to give advice or like a therapist. I'm not trying to fix them. I'm not coaching them to teach them how to attain certain things, but instead just listening and holding space. And that is so unique, especially now, right? Esther Perel always talks about people talk, but nobody listens. Nobody's listening. We're always in here trying to think of what the next thing to say.
Next thing to say, our own issues. Yeah, yeah. Everything that you're going to have for lunch. You know, it's hard. People have a difficult time being in the present.
Yes. And so when I talk to people and ask, where is this coming from? It's typically from their childhood. They had feelings about a caregiver, somebody else who, gave a shit. Can I say shit?
Yes, of course. Oh, God, we curse everything. Yeah, yeah.
I thought I heard bad words.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, wow, you've actually had clients basically confess to you that they've then fallen in love. Wow.
And that's not uncommon.
Right.
Kyle, I don't know if you've ever dealt with this, but we've talked to other practitioners that have had the same experience.
And I'm thinking too, because this is so foreign for people in the United States, most people are not on the levels that you guys are energy-wise. But do you have people get like aroused too? I mean, it's a very intimate thing. Like, Jasmine, you probably have these guys that like end up getting a boner and you're like, okay, I've got to hold your hand, look in your eyes and tell you this is like...
erection on the leg. It happens. It
really?
happens sometimes.
How do you handle that? You're amazing.
Yeah, like you're not awkward about it. You're like, hey, buddy.
You guys are so good. I'd be like, all right, well... I'd be like, okay, maybe I just one hand job. Like, I don't know what I do.
No, I definitely won't do that.
But
you know what?
You're also disqualified from me.
I love you. Okay,
You're not cuddler material.
When am I going to do this? All right, well.
I just joke.
I'd be the worst. I'd talk them to death. Like you said, you got to shut up and listen. And not I'd be talking them to death and give them a hand job. It's like, well, I'd be fired.
She's like, my hand slipped.
I love it.
It's the worst.
Like, literally. You got him laughing, Sarah.
Okay, this is fascinating to us. What do you then do?
Well, first and foremost, I never want to make them feel ashamed of their erection. It's a perfectly normal thing.
Right.
I just tell them, I see you're getting excited or aroused. Why don't we change position? And for the most part, men aren't embarrassed about it. They're just like, okay. Yeah. And because we talk about this even before, during the vetting process, we talk about it before we even have the session.
Wow. Now, were you guys generally recognized? How are your peers taking to cuddling and the cuddling movement? Are you guys being recognized by other medical practices, or are people like, because you're relatively new, or are people still like, you're an outcast? How is that all going? Because, everything's got its own political balance, so are you being recognized by like massage therapists and acupuncturists or not really? How's it going?
I know here in the DC area, when I do marketing and networking, most therapists and massage therapists, Reiki masters, yogis, whatever, they're all very welcoming of it. And they say, yes, you're doing God's work. This is something that we need, definitely. And I've had a few referrals from psychotherapists.
Oh, okay.
But the biggest issue that they have, and I don't know if you've dealt with this too, is the word cuddle. Like quite often, because we live in a litigious society, yes, and especially DC, it's very, very professional and a little stiff. And so they like me to remove the word cuddle out of any of my marketing material, which is fine with me. And I'll give you guys a card, but I call myself a platonic touch practitioner instead of a professional cuddler.
That's very professional.
I saw that. I actually like that, the platonic touch.
It's easier to swallow for a lot of people.
Right, instead of saying cuddler.
What do you find, Kyle? Do you think too, as a man, like, do you have to do different marketing? Do you, how are you accepted? Do you feel like psychotherapists are giving you business? How's that going?
Yeah, I think it's definitely growing. Generally, basically, everyone I talk to like in those fields thinks it's really awesome, that it's like, wow, this is needed. Time and time again, they're like, oh my gosh, loneliness is such an epidemic. Like this is so helpful. We need this. So I definitely get some referrals from psychotherapists. Sometimes I have, actually a decent fraction of my just clients that straight up, they're just clients, are psychotherapists or mental health professionals. I think partially because they really understand the value of touch and the need for that, as well as the possibilities to heal and process things using like the body in addition to just talking.
Wow. How do you get qualified to be a cuddlist or a touch practitioner?
Yeah, is it like a long?
Yeah, is it a long process? How do you get certified?
The funny thing is that it's not a regulated industry, right? There's no licensing. And so right now you go to somebody who has who does cuddle certification. So I'd been cuddling for 2 years. And then in 2018, I went out to California and got my certification from Cuddle Sanctuary in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And then Jean Fasbro encouraged me to go to Cuddlist because Cuddlist is a pretty big name in the cuddling industry. And they also have an online certification program as well.
Okay, so cuddlist.com is the website. So if people are interested in becoming a cuddle technician themselves, or if they want to find someone in their area, we have listeners all over, but obviously you're in Philadelphia and DC, Kyle. Jasmine, you're in the Germantown, DC, Baltimore area. You guys sort of service East Coast.
I do DC, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware. Ohio next week.
You travel. Oh my God.
Oh, you're going to Ohio. So someone's like bringing you to Ohio to work with them.
We're going to meet halfway. So it's a long drive.
Yeah. And then would you get a hotel?
In this instance, we'd get a hotel.
Yeah, well, you guys are so like that. You have to do quite the vetting process. Like,
yeah, I think my vetting process is fairly rigorous. I mean, I have a welcome email that has 2 documents, which is a code of conduct and then a client intake form, which needs contact information on top of medical history. So any infectious skin diseases, medication that they're taking, that say blood thinners. If I touch you, I'm going to end up leaving a bruise on you if you don't tell me about the amount of touch you want or what would you call that? Pressure? The pressure, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, we do a Zoom video conference or consultation just to make sure that I am, in fact, offering the services that they are looking for.
Right.
Right? I don't need to deal with any boundary pushers, and I don't have the time or the patience for that. And it's kind of mean to say.
It's not. You have to draw boundaries. Yeah.
I don't deal with it.
Yeah. If you're going to Ohio, you got to know what you're getting into.
Right?
I mean, that's a drive.
So I want to know, does anybody stink, and how do you prevent that? I want to cuddle.
I wish you forget about that question.
I will not forget about that question. I want to cuddle people, but I ain't dealing with no stink assholes. I am not. No. And so like, what's your worst experience?
Must have natural odors.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I like sort of wear natural deodorant, but I mean,
most days she forgets, and then I ain't not cuddling Sarah.
Professional. They're used to all kinds of natural smells.
They were telling me they actually ask them. They'll bring another shirt if they've got a little mildew smell to them. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I offer shirts if it smells, because I don't like to sell. I don't want to sit there and cuddle with someone who's a little stank. So I'll offer them a shirt. But we talk about it in the vetting process in the video. Make sure that you recently showered, teeth brushed. If you smoke cigarettes, abstain for maybe 2 hours before, just a little bit. That's not a deal breaker for me. But so those are the kind of things that they need to be aware of before cuddling.
Yeah, like one of the 14 code of conduct agreements with Cuddlers is basically like, we'll be respectful of personal hygiene. So fortunately, I haven't had any really bad experiences, partially because they have to like agree to that beforehand. And
I agree not to smell. Well, you should have given me that form. We'll see how that goes today. Kyle, are your clients mostly men, mostly women? Or you told me it was like 50-50, right? You have
about
all kinds
half and half, yeah.
Wow.
And how long have you been cuddling?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half. Wow. And this is your main source of income for both of you?
Yeah.
It is now. I used to have a commercial electrical contracting company.
Oh, and I
She's
wasn't
the
wiring
bomb.
people's homes. What?
I'm a businesswoman deep down inside.
Yeah, you
But
are.
you were talking about the relationships and how it affected cuddling. And I was really scared to come out of the cuddle closet initially back in 2018 when I first came out. But I had been cuddling since 2016 because I was really worried about my clients in construction, conservative clients that were going to pull their contracts or that it would have an adverse effect on my business.
Right.
But my long-term goal was to eventually close down my electrical contracting company and just do this full-time. And I'm pretty much doing this full-time. I have a couple of clients that I still take care of their things, but yeah, this is it.
Has anybody in your lives, friend, relative, anybody ever had an objection with what you do? Yeah? Oh,
Yeah,
really?
totally.
Yeah. What did they say? What did they,
Yeah, I mean, so some of my family members, they're like very understandably, they're very concerned. Like, basically, like, Kyle, is this something it's shown as this, but really wink, wink, and it's like, no, don't worry.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
do. They have more concern than they actually object to what you're doing. It's just more out of worry for you.
I mean, so I think some people, especially for me, some people that like Christian who I know, like they have just, especially more conservative Christian, they just have really different values in general about touch. Like I know some people who they didn't have their first kiss until they're on the altar. So like for
What?
that,
Wow.
so like for that,
Wow.
they're like, yeah, what I do
Wow.
is really going to be, outside of their.
You're way outside the box. You're like pushing all the boundaries,
Yeah,
honey.
yeah.
Like it's wow.
Yeah,
That-
so.
I know. We do live in a very Puritan society. It's amazing. Guys, where do you want to see the business? It's just getting going. You guys are getting a lot of interviews, a lot of attention. We see more and more stuff in the news. Where do you want to see this business in 5 years?
I mean, I would say I'll speak personally for me. I love working with people who really view it more as a therapy experience, who are looking to transform themselves, their lives. Like I really enjoy the ones that's more similar to a massage. Like I don't do massage, but it's more of just a relaxation and touch in that way. But what I really love is when it's combined with like the coaching or helping self-growth. So my vision is getting a lot of referrals from psychotherapists or other coaches, maybe trauma centers, things like that. Yeah, and being known as really able to help people through challenges that are really associated with the body when they have like emotional challenges that are really ingrained in their nervous system patterns that aren't serving them. I want, actually, we were on a call recently and someone asked me what my vision is. It feels a little scary to say on air, but I hope to, someday, basically huge speaker, maybe international, and be helping change the culture of touch and consent and communication in the U.S. and like leading large workshops and really, changing that. And
You're on your way because
someone
people
said-
need it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
hallelujah.
yeah, and especially like, I mean,
We
I
have
think-
huge dreams on this show, so you can basically, if you want to say you want to
yeah.
go to outer space and teach it, we're with you. I mean,
I'll
believe me,
do the
we're-
satellite live up there.
Believe me,
Cuddles.
she's going to be an
Truly, though.
SNL. I'm getting a talk show. We believe me, we know how to speak it into existence. No problem.
Yeah.
You guys are so. This has been amazing. I did have a question from a listener though. They wanted to know: do you guys ever do cuddling for pets? Is that
I had a
industry
client
common?
who had 2 dogs that would cuddle with us.
Really?
But it
Okay.
wasn't specifically for
For
pets.
the pets.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think she wants it
Oh.
for her dog. Her dog's like psycho. So
I'm
she's
down.
wondering
Like
if
when
like
she's away at work.
I'll
Yeah.
cuddle a pet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she
I'll
feels
cuddle
like
a
the
pet.
dog has a lot of anxiety and angst towards her because it's a very hyper dog, but she's gone all the time. So then she has a woman come in. And so she was like, I wonder if they ever cuddle animals. I was like,
Would you be
will
open to it?
ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a safe, clean pet.
Give the
yeah.
dog a little
Get
massage.
paid to
Absolutely.
like
pretty sweet.
hug a dog.
Yeah.
I love that.
Not hump.
No,
Is that what you said? No.
Or bunny
thought that's what you
cuddles.
said, sorry.
Have you seen the bunny cafes where they have bunnies that you can cuddle and pet? And
Yes.
it's all part of the process. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we're actually going to do a cuddling session.
I'm so excited for this.
to do this with Kyle. I've never done one. I love this stuff. I can't wait to just have this experience. Guys, I think this is so awesome. I love, people like learning different things, thinking differently. Where can people find you, book you? You two have been amazing to be so open and share.
Sure. So I'm on cuddlist.com/Kyle. On there, I also have links to my YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook, Kyle R. Hoffman, Cuddling. You'll find me. Yeah.
Amazing. Jasmine?
And my company name is Tanjay Wellness. You can find me at tanjaywellness.com. Cuddlist as well. Cuddle Comfort, Cuddle Sanctuary, the Cuddle World. You can find me on YouTube and all the other social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook.
Love it. Age, do you have any other questions before we go to this cuddle session?
I feel like as I'm watching the cuddle session, I'll have a million questions, but I think we covered it. Like, I'm just so open to this, and I feel like I'm awkward. I feel like I would benefit from being cuddled, and then just at least like getting practice. Yeah, because I totally see this, and I have a problem with intimacy sometimes, and I feel like this is, like I'm not lonely, but I want to be hugged more.
She's like, I'm not lonely though.
I ain't lonely. Yeah, no, but that's so true.
I think someone needs a mama bear, baby bear.
Yes. Yeah, and we want to know about all the positions, so we'll show you guys in the video.
Yeah, what are we going to do, by the way? What are some of the positions, Kyle, you're feeling like that we should do this cuddling session? You talked about mama bear, baby bear. What's that position?
Well, I think that one will be easier to show when we're actually
out there.
Is that
Okay.
Cool?
That's
but
fine.
not everything's video. Okay, but so mom, I guess the one, I don't know that term for it. I guess I've heard it, but basically it'd be like me sitting on the floor, sitting against the wall with like my legs in like a V, and then you sitting like in front of me and basically leaning back. So I sometimes, like, just my own term, I call it like the human lounge chair, just like leaning back on someone.
That's amazing.
And then you can be held or kind of head, like
head massage,
face stroking, things like that, or nice squeezes.
Oh my God. This is, I can't wait. Okay, we're
All right,
going to do this. You guys are so terrific. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much
really
for having
appreciate it.
us.
Yeah,
Love
so
it.
sweet. Thank you.
You guys, we absolutely loved it. If you want to see my cuddling session, it is on YouTube at Hey Frase. Just subscribe. P.S. We're going to tell you more about this next week, but AJ is on a BuzzFeed show. What's the show called?
It's called Did You See This? It's through BuzzFeedNews.com on their Facebook page, and you guys can just catch up all the episodes there. I'm already on 2 of the episodes, and I will be on the future Friday one, and it drops like around 1 o'clock every single day.
I can't wait to see this. Okay, so we'll be checking for that. We love you guys. Bye, everybody.
A little delay there. Hi.
Hi, bye.
Rock the cat spot. Rock the cat spot.
Hey, Fraser, like it.
Hey, Fraser, like it.
Rock the cat spot. Rock the cat spot.